All right, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of New Readers Press, welcome to today's webinar. The topic is the Digital Equity Act and what it means for adult education. Your event hosts today are Theresa Sladek. Theresa is from Literacy, Minnesota. She's the Strategic Partnerships and Northstar New Business Specialist. We have three folks from New Readers Press. Courtney Hacker, a digital account manager, is our engine specialist. We have Greg, who can't join us today. So you have Dan Helms, that's me. And here, LMS specialist means last minute substitute. And you also have Rachel Budde, a digital account manager and our learning upgrade specialist. And so the virtual floor is yours. We'll start with you, Theresa. Let me stop sharing and hand it over to you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am going to talk about the Digital Equity Act, which I hope that most of you have heard about. So let me share my screen here. And I am from Literacy, Minnesota, and work on Northstar. So if you know of Northstar, we are in the digital realm and are paying close attention to the Digital Equity Act, which is why I know about it, talk to you about it. So tell me, you can chat or you can unmute. Why do you think it's important for people to have basic computer skills? So if I'm a person who doesn't know how to turn on a computer or doesn't know how to search on the internet or use email, what am I not able to do? What are some of the things I can't do if I don't know how to use a computer or search on the internet, use email? I can't join a webinar, right? That's true. What else can't I do? I can't apply for a job. I can't find information. I can't do online banking or use a healthcare portal. Do a telehealth appointment. Yep. Either look for employment or keep my employment, apply for government benefits, order from Grubhub. I love that one. Oh, and here Barbara said her parents couldn't find an electrician. And then Bruce mentioned you can't get a fair shake on your GED test or go to college, right? So digital, you guys are great. You're the best group I've talked to so far with coming up with ideas. So there's so many things that people can't do if they don't have these skills. And oftentimes the default answer is jobs, but it really is much more life encompassing than that, as you pointed out in the answers you've given to me. So, most government forms are now online to find out about candidates. A lot of that, you might find it in print, but a lot of it is online too. Employment we've talked about. Just that learning piece, how easy it is if you have a device and access and you know how to do it, to look up the answer to a question online, and you're kind of constantly learning. So also, yeah, staying in touch with loved ones is much easier than, think about before there were computers, writing letters, much quicker and easier nowadays. So we like to think about digital equity as a three-legged stool. And can anyone, I've sort of given away the answer, but can anyone tell me what the three legs of the stool are? So that without any one of the legs, the stool is useless, right? So I see something in the chat. Any idea, what do you need? What does a person need to have digital equity? So what's one thing you would need in order to get online? A device, right? And you need access, someone said. And skills, yes, Michelle, you're right. So the last part would be skills. And oftentimes in conversations in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of money about getting people devices, getting people broadband access, all wonderful things, but oftentimes the skills piece is left out. And that is where many of your organizations really excel in terms of providing, the ability to provide digital skills. So that's the part that we're going to focus on today. So the Digital Equity Act was passed in last November, and it's providing for a lot of money, right? $2.75 billion over the next 5 years. And this money is going to come down, it's, from the federal government, but it's going to flow, some of it will flow through the states and some of it through state governments and agencies, and some will come, could come directly to your programs through the federal government itself. So you want to be aware that this money is out there. It's possible for you to get a lot of this money, and it could really help the people that you serve. So in May this year, it was opened up that every state governor could convene a task force to plan their state's digital equity plan. And there's 1 million for planning could go to each state that requests it. And I don't yet have a list of what states have requested it, but each state chooses the department that might be responsible. So oftentimes it may be workforce, it might be if they have some kind of broadband department, but really it's up to each state. So you want to be aware of what your own state is doing. We're trying to track that as well here at Literacy Minnesota, and we will be adding a page to our webpage and to Northstar webpage too, tracking that and just keeping people abreast of what's going on. But there are many other resources that you should be able to find out that information as it becomes available. So each state can have up to $1 million to do the planning, and they have a year to plan. So then in the summer, the summer of 2023, 1.44 billion are going to be released to the states, but they have to have a plan in order to even request that money. So right now you're hoping your states are getting those groups together and starting to do that planning. And there was a question about how can we find out if our state is tapping into the available funds. We are hoping, I'll give you a website to track this funding. We're hoping that they will put that information up there. At this point, they haven't. So you probably could search, Digital Equity Act in whatever your state you're in and see if there's been anything publicized about it. So it's not super clear at this point. I'm in Minnesota, and our state hasn't done anything yet. But if you can track that information, you're going to be, benefit to you, because you're going to want to know what agency is responsible for the planning. And then we'll look at this further, but who else might be involved. So the other grants that are going to be available after these state capacity grants will be this last bullet point here, these digital equity competitive grants. And that's where your agencies can apply directly to the federal government for an additional 1.25 billion total. So again, you want to hopefully be in on the planning for it, that you or your type of organization, whether you're library, adult education, want to be in on the planning so that the people you serve are being thought of. But then you also want to be thinking, how you might directly apply for funds as well. So the state planning grants, those states have to have, like I said, a department that's going to oversee the planning, and they apply for those planning funds, and then they'll ultimately create the plans and submit it to that funding formula next summer to meet whatever state planning plan they have. And so, Monica, to clarify, the 1.44 billion, this is for, we'll go into what it covers. So, but it's for the Digital Equity Act. So we'll get into kind of what it covers. So some of the things that the state plan have to include are, they're looking at the barriers that people face. They want to know, they want objectives for how broadband availability and affordability are going to be, measured and promoted. Digital literacy is the one that you most probably are interested in, because that might be something that you provide. So they want to know how you're how you're providing that, how you're promoting that. And there's some things around cybersecurity and, you know, devices as well. So that's the whole statewide plan, right? So the assessment has to look at how does whatever the state is planning to do, how does it impact and affect the workforce development goals, the educational outcomes of the state, health outcomes, civic and social engagement, and, you know, other essential services. So this can be very comprehensive, and that was the intent of those who wrote it. So, and the writers of the act really are promoting partnerships. So they're looking at the state to not just have this one, you know, department who's going to decide everything. They want to really collaborate with all these key stakeholders to make sure that all these important populations and different departments or different, I don't know, entities are getting what they need for the people that are using them. And so Chrissy said in Texas, they know already it's a broadband development office. So that's great. So hopefully your state is more proactive like Texas than, for example, Minnesota at the moment. But, you know, look at here and you can see that your organization is probably in here, right? So they want to include key stakeholders such as nonprofits, people that work with those that have language barriers, people who are incarcerated, aging individuals, you can see, local education agencies, different governments. And then this first one, Community Anchor Institutes, we'll look at that next. But so it's really comprehensive, and I love this. You know, in Literacy Minnesota, we're always promoting partnerships. And a lot of your agencies do something really, really well, but maybe not everything in this whole plan. So if you can, the more you can think about who in your communities can you partner with to provide more, you know, maybe someone who is providing devices, or maybe your organization works with people who are learning English, but not as much with veterans, for example. So the more you can think of partnerships, the better off you are going to be in the future. And you're also going to get, your agency's name out there, and you're going to hopefully get involved in this plan. And Michigan, in the chat, says Michigan has a broadband connection department. These are good things to be looking for. All right, I'm glad that you all know some of you know what's happening in your states. So this planning committee is going to develop the state plan, right, for your state. And they are able to provide sub-grants to hopefully your organizations that's going to support whatever the state plan is. So this is why you want to have a voice in this planning, these planning committee decisions, or get your message out there, kind of make sure that the learners you serve are being thought of, or whatever it is you might bring to the table is being considered. So the people who can get the organizations can get the sub-grants, again, are probably many of your organizations. You can see that they're not-for-profits. These anchor institutes will look at. You can see that list there. And then partnerships. So again, the more you can partner with other organizations, the more likely you will be to get some of this grant money. There's also the competitive grants, which I was telling you about. So this is outside of what the state flow through is. This will be given directly to agencies. And again, a lot of your agencies would fall in these categories. And they like to see partnerships. They like to see partnerships of multiple organizations. So it's again, to your benefit to start thinking about who in my community can help with digital equity needs that maybe I don't cover. So those anchor institutes that you've been seeing, these are the anchor institutes. So there were all the other organizations that you saw on the previous screen, and also these. So public schools, some of you might be involved with. I love the fact they're including housing authorities. Libraries, of course, are a big player in the digital literacy world. Start thinking about medical or healthcare providers too, and how. So with Northstar, we're seeing a lot of, I'm talking to people across the country, and I'm seeing a lot of talk about telehealth and people not having the skills needed to access telehealth. And so doctors and clinics and insurance are seeing this. They know this exists, but at any provider, their job is really making people healthy. So they're probably not going to be the ones that are teaching people these skills. So if you are in a community with a major provider, a major hospital, if you can be the organization that somehow patients get sent to, or you partner with to help provide these skills, it's going to be to everyone's benefit. And then you can see there's other, community colleges and other nonprofits. So does anyone have any questions about kind of what types of organizations, or if your organization would fall in these buckets? Okay. All right. So then the other really interesting thing, and where many of you are a perfect fit, is who this act is intended to serve. So you can see that it's looking at people who are living in 150% of federal poverty, people who are aging individuals. So again, if you are serving aging individuals, or another agency in your community is serving aging individuals, they might be a great partner. Incarcerated individuals, veterans. Many of you are probably teaching English language learners or people who have low levels of literacy. So these are people who are covered. So even if you aren't maybe providing digital literacy at this moment, if you partner with, let's say you're an adult education school, you're teaching people how to read English. If you could partner with your public library, who might be teaching digital literacy classes, that way, if they have someone who is low English language learner, they might send them to you to get the English skills they need to participate in the classes. If you have someone who comes to you wanting digital literacy, you can partner with the library. So you can see how this can all flow together, and you can support each other. And then also those people who are living in rural areas. And yes, so adult education services are definitely a big stakeholder in helping those who are covered. All right, so you all, most likely all of you would be able to get these funds. So why does it matter? Obviously, there's a lot of money that's going to be coming down the pipe. This is a great chance to build your programs, to think about what, if you've had dreams of, I'd love to teach people digital literacy, but just haven't had the capacity, start thinking big, I would say. Start talking to other organizations about how you might work with them. So for example, and I think one of you is on the call here from Delaware Libraries, I thought I saw. But Delaware Libraries is partnering with Literacy Delaware. So the libraries all support digital literacy learning. But in that example I gave, if they have people who are lower English language learners and who have a difficult time with what the library is providing for digital literacy instruction, they're partnering with Literacy Delaware, who I believe at this point now is coming into the libraries to help with the English language learning as well as the digital literacy learning. So it's kind of a nice complement. So there was a question about what is the age range, what is considered an aging adult. I don't know for sure, and I will give you a website where there's a lot of FAQs that probably does answer that. In what I've often encountered, the term aging individuals often means 55 plus, which doesn't seem that old to me, but so I'm kind of curious though, there's so many of you on the call, have you thought about the Digital Equity Act? Have you thought about what you might do or what you want to do? Or, some of you are obviously tracking this. I think it's helpful for all of us to hear others' ideas. There's so much money. I don't think there's going to be like fighting for dollars. So I think it is helpful for all those that we serve, for you to share your kind of brainstorming ideas on what your agency might do or how you might partner. Have any of you got to that point of thinking about it? And you can unmute if that's easier too. I'll give you a chance to. Are there any of you who are partnering with other types of organizations right now? Not necessarily on digital literacy, but just to kind of give people ideas. So here's an answer to why does it matter? Measurable skill gains are tied to federal funding. Will digital literacy become an NRS reporting category? Perhaps it will. There is a group who is a national group who's looking at all kinds of assessments and what that might mean. So it could be that it's a reporting category, but also this is other funding. Adult education is not well funded, and you all know that. But this is another way for you to get money and to work with partners. 5 years, it's like the golden chance to look outside of your current funding streams. So I would not, I would think about how can we change the field, but how can I work with these other partners who may have access, past the 5 years to other types of funding. Monica.
Thank you so much. This is so informative, and I'm usually not involved in finding money, so this for me is super, super exciting to hear and to be a part of. So thanks for bringing that. But I guess in regards to the brainstorming that we're doing, we're finding we're kind of, as we're assessing people, we're also asking them, well, why do you want to, learn computers for, et cetera, right? And a lot of people are relating it to work, career advancements, being able to navigate themselves, navigate around the workspace. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing I do find is, through Northstar, we work with a lot of libraries across the country. And oftentimes, and with adult education programs as well across the country. And sometimes if people are not looking for a job, they won't say that they need digital literacy. But then, as we talked about at the very beginning, when you present, like, would you like to be able to talk to your, hear from your children's school through most schools have admin portals or have parent portals now, or email with your child's teacher, or would you like to do shopping online, or whatever it might be, then people see, oh yeah, maybe I would like digital literacy. So it's often how you sell it to the people that you're working with. And so agencies have really found that when they start kind of talking about all these areas that digital literacy can help with, people get kind of excited about it. So some things in the chat, there's some great ideas. So internet services are very expensive. And so looking at internet discounts or hotspots, and they also were saying adult learners don't always have tablets or laptops. So Literacy Minnesota, back during the heat of the pandemic, we were involved in a program with CARES Act money, with our local county government, was giving out 500 laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots, and anyone could win them in a lottery. And I think actually everyone who asked for one got one. And we worked with the county workforce center, with the libraries in the county and in the city of St. Paul, and then with Literacy Minnesota. So this was all remote. It was during 2020. So people could get these devices. If they got the device, they would pick it up at the library, and it would be locked. And so then once someone picked up a device, one of our Literacy Minnesota's digital navigators would call that person and set up an appointment to walk them through how, because we didn't know what people's digital literacy skills would be, to walk them through, how to turn it on, how to connect the hotspot, how to use Zoom. And then they go through asking them what their goals were. And many people said initially, well, I only have one device for 7 people in my family, or my internet isn't very good. But then as they, of course, we're with Northstar, right? So we had them all take some of the Northstar assessments. And then as they saw that they could learn more skills, 52% of them said they wanted to continue on with, free digital literacy. And that was not why they had applied for the program. So it was kind of exciting. So I think you're right. Thinking about those 3 different, all the legs of the stool are really important for people. Now there is, and we'll talk about this at the end, which is soon of my talk, but there is also a broadband initiative where there's a different chunk of money for infrastructure around broadband and high-speed internet that's going out to the states as well. So that should help at least with access, not necessarily, to your point, Christine, with cost. But I do know of another library who actually used funding to buy towers to put up in her near her rural library. So to help people again with the speed, not so much the cost, but. All right, one-on-one tutoring, courses and workshops, literacy workshops and one-on-one sessions. Oh, I love the fact working with local senior center, the seniors that we served on that project that I was telling you about they were the most thankful of any of the people we served. We had several over 80 years old, and they offered to bake cookies for all the navigators. And they were just so happy to connect with their family and to listen to music online and to watch YouTube videos. It meant a lot to them. And yes, this is bipartisan supported funding. So very, very exciting from that standpoint of view. So I want to give my colleagues on the call enough time to do their part, but you all have, if you all read the chat, in fact, probably faster than I can, there's some great ideas in there. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is, so there is this other piece called BEAD, or Broadband Equity Access and Deployment. And that's more toward infrastructure on broadband. You can see there's a lot of money, right? $42.45 billion going into that. And it's for all 50 states and then territories. So far, 40 states or territories have signed up and have signed an intent to participate in this. And I just got this information, honestly, right before this call. So I didn't have a chance to put these in alphabetical order, but you can see these are the 40 that have already signed that. So this is separate from the Digital Equity Act. But if they're signing this Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Act, they're obviously at least thinking about digital equity. So, so if your state is not on here, you might want to reach out to your governor and say, what's going on? If your state is on here, hooray for your state. So I am now going to turn it over to, just check the chat really quickly.
That's going to be turned over to Courtney. And I wanted to let everyone know, Theresa is going to stick around for the next 30 minutes. And so if you have questions for her, feel free to continue putting those in chat. And now she'll have more time to focus on those questions and answer. Meanwhile, Courtney and then Rachel and then we're going to share with you some digital literacy solutions that are all unique. And we're going to start with Courtney, digital literacy for English language learners.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for allowing me to join with you today. I've been asked to share Engine with you today, and Engine's for digital literacy course that is supported in the platform. So if you're not familiar with Engine, or if this is the first time that you've been able to have your eyes on Engine, Engine is an innovative technology purely digital platform that helps upskill and empower language learners. As you can see, I do have a native language selected. I have Spanish selected on the platform. And so we can see how a native language, when selected, is represented in the platform. Just as a kind of brief introduction of what Engine does upon activation is learners are able to take an assessment, and based off of that simple assessment, a learner will be placed within the platform. This English for Digital Literacy course has over 100 lessons and has 10 units. So as you can see, I'm on my first unit, which is basic computer skills, and I am on lesson 3 out of the 10 lessons. Lessons in the Engine platform are designed more for micro-learning, learning in simple short chunks, which really supports a lower level learner and helps guide learners to success and independence and help foster that confidence that is needed. One of the things that I just really love about the Engine platform is even though I'm on lesson 3, I can work independently. An instructor or a data coordinator can look at my data. I can also view my data in the platform. And if I'm not doing as well, or if I need to redo a lesson, I can always click in a box and repeat the lesson that I have completed initially. So for lesson 1 on desktop computers, I can go in and I can practice this lesson again. I can also have all keywords, vocabulary words for review.
Keyboard, monitor, mouse,
which, as we know, is really helpful for lower level learners as well. So let's go ahead and hop in to the digital literacy course in Engine and see what we think. And then I'll go ahead and go to the platform with English as a supported language.
There are lots of desktop computers at the library. They each have a monitor, keyboard, and mouse.
So this first activity, as you can see, even though I have the native language Spanish selected, I am still, Engine is still going to talk to me in English. My navigational text, basically anything in a gray box, is going to be in my native language for that helping hand, that support. But my activity and my lesson at hand will still be in English. There we go, ready to move on to the next section. This is a different type of activity. The lessons, the activity types throughout the Engine platform are very fluid. So regardless if I'm in a course on electrical engineering, healthcare, manufacturing, or of course is what we're looking at today, the digital literacy course, I'm going to have the same type of fluidity throughout the platform with the activities. So once I get comfortable with those activities, I'm going to see them repeated throughout the platform.
Climb the hilltop. Rides a scooter. Dances on the tabletop.
Desktop computers.
At my desk.
Desktop computers.
And sorry, I would have to drag and drop
Desktop
into the
computers.
correct gray area.
ache, eat, earth, easy, each, aboard,
Overboard.
backward, keyboard, must, more, mouse,
For this
mouse,
time, we know that the third one will be mouse. And my last lesson in this first section here is still another drag and drop. And I did much better second time around, as you can see. I'm going to hop back over here. I have another browser opened where I have the native language as English. Engine does support 18 languages on both the web version and on the mobile app. So as Theresa was previously mentioning, broadband and internet connectivity, data packaging can be a concern as well. Engine is fully supported on a mobile device. And what is really neat is that all learners, they do not have to have internet access to continue their learning. So if they're standing in line at the grocery store, if they're waiting in the car, waiting to pick up a child from school, or if they're like my world soccer practice, anything that they are doing, they can continue their learning on the go. And when they do connect to internet, whether that's at Panera or at a library or at their educational facility, the data will automatically upload. So that's a nice feature that Engine offers. Any questions so far on what we've seen within the Engine platform? So Engine also has many supporting documents that are essential to help with the navigation of Engine. I have a few of our tabs opened. Engine has provided a teacher's playbook, and I think this is really helpful to showcase, just by clicking on this Google link, all of the courses that are supported in the Engine platform. So we're focusing today primarily on the digital literacy course, but let me start up here at the top, and I'll just kind of gradually scroll so I don't make everybody dizzy here. All of the different courses that are supported in the platform. And as you can see in red, everything's noted new, new, new. This is really handy, because as long as you have this link, any new course is immediately added. And when you join the link, you can see what is added as that is added. As I'm saying that, there's many courses that just they magically appear like Christmas morning, I say. So as we scroll through, we can just kind of get a feel for what else is promoted in the Engine platform and supported. A lot of courses, a lot of opportunities to encourage career and workforce. So right here is this English for digital literacy. So if I know that that is a course that is of interest, I know that's a focus, I can really fine tune into that. It has 100 lessons. As I said, it's at a beginner level, supported in the platform. And what is very helpful for instructors is to be able to go to this course outline, and everything is mapped out for you. Here are those 10 different lessons. Here's those course objectives. Everything is aligned with Northstar standards. And I can get right into the unit at hand and go see exactly that course within the Engine platform. Speaking of Northstar standards, it's helpful to be able to find those correlations. So we're gonna take a virtual field trip here, going over to newreaderspress.com. If you want to find the Northstar standards that are supported with Engine, please go to our website and head to Digital Solutions. Then we're gonna go over to Engine. And we're gonna click on Engine twice. One-click Engine, two-click Engines, and then down at the bottom, correlations. And this is where we can find the digital literacy course overview. And we can see all of those Northstar standards in alignment with each one of those 10 units in the Engine platform. I have just a little bit more time here. Another nice feature in the Engine platform is the command center. So this is a separate site, separate from what we were looking at before, which was the student site. So at admin.getengine.com, and every administrator will have access to the command center in Engine, and everyone will receive the lessons feature in the command center. And I just Googled, I just searched in here, every single lesson that is supported in the Engine platform is in the lessons feature. So I typed in email account just out of curiosity. I scroll down here and I can get some ideas of what's going on. If I wanted to share how to make a Gmail account. You know, as Theresa had said previously, having digital literacy, we know that that is essential for workforce, for careers, for personal reasons, and communicating with your child's teacher, communicating just period, with all of the examples of what digital literacy holds for us. If I wanted to share, you know, this Gmail account, if I wanted to share any of these lessons, Engine supports this feature where I simply click on this button. I can share with one learner, I can share with an entire group or an entire class of learners, and then that lesson will automatically appear on the learner's website. So they'll be instructed to go ahead and complete that lesson. So it's in some way a way for you to customize, if you will, your lessons that you would like to share with each learner.
Hi, Courtney. So we're about out of time, but I want to see if we can address this question from Robin. Do you still have that course guide open on one of your slides?
I do.
So Robin said, well, I've got ESL students that can't read Spanish or English. If you scroll to the very top, can we look at what that pre-beginner literacy might look like? That might help to answer Robin's question when you look at the 49 lessons that are available there.
Right, that's a great, so this is a more emergent level literacy, and what Engine has done, and I was super excited because I got to be a part of working with Engine on this, is they have aligned this pre-beginner literacy course, these 49 lessons, directly with the digital literacy course, because we know that at times if you're a little weaker with the digital literacy, they go hand in hand, as Robin just said. So if I wanted to go into the course outline, I can quickly see the units. So this is going to be specifically talking about the letters and the keyboard, and it's all aligned with digital literacy. So I do not have that added as one of my
That's
courses.
okay. It's okay. I just wanted to see the topics really and let Robin know that it's certainly something that she could try for herself. Free 30-day trials of the student experience are available, and you can reach out to us after the follow-up email. You'll have my contact information. So that is an overview of Engine. And again, it has digital literacy and so much more, academic prep, workforce prep for language learners, English language learners. And now we're going to go to another digital literacy solution. Maybe your students mostly have access on a mobile device. Well, Rachel can tell you about a solution that would be ideal for that situation.
Absolutely. So hello, everyone, and thank you for having us. Today, I'm going to share this digital equity solution thanks to a wonderful partnership between New Readers Press and Learning Upgrade. So Learning Upgrade gives each student their own path to learning success in English, math, test preparation, and skills such as digital literacy. So Robin, this is another opportunity or possibility for your learners that provides them with access to everything and includes the digital literacy course. Learning Upgrade's available on almost any device through the web, smartphones, and tablets, so students can learn anytime, anywhere, making this a powerful solution to digital inequity. And not only does the student app offer 22 courses students can use independently or on the web, but teachers and administrators can easily monitor student progress to identify strengths and weaknesses as students complete courses and lessons. The new and improved learning management system gives teachers and administrators flexible options for onboarding, tracking student progress, and reporting. Administrators can manage multiple sites, teachers and classes, print or export valuable data, use the advanced filters to customize reports, or track progress and growth for their entire program. Teachers will have unlimited access to all courses and lessons with a teacher whiteboard that can be used for instruction, easily view activity logs, report cards, and monitor student progress, assign and modify course and lesson pathways for students, send direct messages to students using text, email, or the WhatsApp app, And they can print certificates for students as a positive reinforcement of their achievements. Let's take a closer look specifically at the digital literacy content available in Learning Upgrade that aligns with Northstar. So the Learning Upgrade digital literacy course offers 60 engaging interactive lessons aligned to IST standards, Northstar, and DQ framework standards. The digital literacy course was created for students at NRS level 5, so if that gives you an idea of what their English language skills should be, and it covers topics such as devices, data, content creation, communication, security and privacy, digital citizenship, technology, and more. And because adult education research shows that adult learners succeed when lessons are both visual and interactive, the use of video songs, interactive practice questions, and positive reinforcement make Learning Upgrade an excellent solution for adult ed programs. So let's take a closer look at the digital literacy lessons in Learning Upgrade and how they align with Northstar specifically. So the first lesson that I'm going to share with you, and probably the only one because we're short on time, actually falls under the Essential Computer Skills Assessment Alignment, and it meets the Internet Basics category. So I found this to be very helpful for adult learners who are just getting started with computers, and I'm guessing everyone in here might have been guilty of not following the rules that are in this next section at some point in their life. Dan. So let me jump in here. And we're going to watch
You can't hear me
one
laugh.
of the lessons in here. I haven't started yet. So this is lesson 41, passwords.
A password is a string of characters used to verify the identity of a user. Passwords are used in conjunction with a username when logging onto a device, an online website, or account, or an app. Passwords ensure that only you can access your private information. Because malicious users or hackers frequently attempt to bypass passwords to steal information, it's crucial to use strong passwords. Here are some characteristics of strong passwords. 1. Longer is better. Passwords that are 8 or more characters are typically harder to crack, but make sure you aren't using the same character several times in a row. 2. No dictionary words. People often use common words like password as a component of their password. Avoid words as best as you can. The more difficult it is to say out loud, the stronger it is. 3. No personal information. People often include their birthdays, social security numbers, address, or pet names in their password.
I'm going to pause right there because I know that I'm guilty of doing this myself, not just Dan and Courtney. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit just to show you some of the interactive practice questions. I think you get the idea of what the lessons are like in this.
These are not only common tricks, but also easy to figure out.
Not going to let me skip forward because I logged in as a
4.
account.
Mix it up. Use a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters in passwords. Passwords are case sensitive, so if you tried to type in a lowercase d when the password includes an uppercase D, you'll have to try entering it again. 5. Use unique passwords for different accounts. If you use the same password on every device and account, a malicious user who discovers what the password is could access all of your accounts. To avoid this, use different passwords for every account. Make sure to change all your passwords every 6 months and try not to recycle old passwords for extra security. Let's hack into your knowledge of passwords. Which rule for strong passwords applies to this situation?
So just to show you how this works, I'm going to click on an answer to show you the feedback that you receive when you incorrectly or correctly answered.
Nope. Lorena should combine upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters in her password.
And what I'd like to do now is to actually go over to our Northstar alignment to show you how these specifically align with Northstar's Digital Literacy version 2.0, and how if you're in this document, you could even just type in the word passwords to find exactly what you needed. So you could take the standard that you were trying to meet based on your Northstar assessments and actually fall under Internet Basics, and then you can find the digital literacy lesson in Learning Upgrade that you would need based on this alignment. Now I'm going to jump back in here to talk about the 60 lessons that are available in the Learning Upgrade Digital Literacy course. Not only does it help prepare your students for Northstar assessments, but it also includes additional important topics such as chat rooms, online scams, device and content protection, virtual reality, and digital economy. And in addition to the full digital literacy course available in Learning Upgrade, New Readers Press has also created a digital literacy workbook for the students and a teacher's guide to complement the course. The teacher's guide includes learning goals based on IST and Northstar standards, prerequisite skills, tips for previewing key vocabulary, teaching strategies for skill review, differentiation activities to help students step up or step down from the lesson, as well as class discussion prompts and supplemental projects for each lesson. And then our companion student workbooks provide additional practice questions, discussion topics, and lesson projects, as well as a final assessment that can be used together with the digital lessons to create a comprehensive blended learning experience. And since there are no duplications of questions, students will complete the course with a higher level of mastery. So I'm going to go live now and actually click on our digital literacy workbook to show you how, if you go to our newreaderspress.com website, you can actually look inside each of our books to see how they work. So I'm going to click down here at the very bottom where it says look inside and show you just the first lesson that pops up in the digital literacy sample. And I believe it is our very first lesson, Internet Basics. So if I double click here, you can kind of get a closer look at how there's a learning goal, skill review, the vocabulary is specifically there to be able to explicitly teach it. It's using all of the same symbols that are found within the Learning Upgrade lesson. And then there's also additional practice, ways to apply that, and then a discussion and project section. So that's just a quick look inside the student book. Let me go back here. And although what I did focus on today was Learning Upgrade's digital literacy course and how it aligns with Northstar, I do want to address the idea that when students have an account in Learning Upgrade, you can also provide them with access to all of the courses, which include English, mathematics, work and life skills, such as digital literacy, and test prep. So you kind of get more bang for your buck here, especially for those who are serving English language learners or low-level literacy adults. And you may actually notice here that there are 3 grayed out areas in our skills section, and that's because those courses are coming soon. So if you're interested, work-life skills will prepare learners for success in their jobs, school, and life by teaching them the soft skills like active listening, time management, teamwork. And financial literacy is going to help students learn valuable money management skills such as budgeting, purchasing a home, buying a car, or even planning for college. And the citizenship course will help learners become U.S. citizens by preparing them for the civics test, the reading and writing test, and the citizenship interview. And so I'm going to step out now, so I've taken too much of time, and I'm going to let Dan jump in and share another digital solution. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and thanks everyone for doing everything you do to improve digital equity.
Thank you, Rachel. So I'm here substituting for Greg, and I'm going to show you one additional solution for teaching digital literacy. So Courtney looked at a program called InGen for teaching digital literacy to English language learners, but InGen does so much more than that with its academic prep and workplace readiness prep. Rachel looked at I think I said Courtney last time, and now Rachel looked at Learning Upgrade, again, with lots of content. So that answers one question that we just had. You get all of the courses with a subscription. And that's for those adult learners who are on the go, who are studying on their mobile apps, but it's for so much more than that. And so this one, we get a lot of questions from people who don't have the technology infrastructure, but still want to do what they can to teach digital literacy. We get questions from corrections institutions where they have computer labs, but no internet access. What can we do to teach digital literacy? And so I'm going to take just a few minutes here, more of your time, and talk about computers one click at a time. It's a flexible guide with a student workbook and 2 optional online components designed to prepare beginners for computer use in the workplace and in everyday life. So let me get my mouse over here on my monitor, and here we go. The student workbook is the core component for computers one click at a time. There are 7 lessons spanning 110 pages. The lesson titles are Using a Computer, the Desktop, Software, Using the Internet, Using Email, Online Safety and Practice, Real World Applications. Starting with selecting a suitable computer and printer to using the mouse and keyboard, students are going to build core skills in word processing, using spreadsheets, folders, windows, and internet basics, and creating a professional profile or job searching, and much more. Each lesson begins by stating the learning objectives and by introducing key vocabulary. The vocabulary words are in bold print and they're defined at point of use, but they're also listed at the end of each lesson along with their definitions as shown here. Lessons include practice with relatable activities and scenarios. Here's an example using financial data from a fictitious company called Candy Cafe to practice working with spreadsheets and spreadsheet shortcuts. Now, hang on one second. I've got to check. Okay, good. The answers for all activities are included in the back of the workbook. And the student workbook was designed as a standalone resource. It's to use to ease beginners into digital literacy in an unintimidating way. It's an excellent match for programs facing technology challenges in the classroom, whether they lack enough computers for everyone or internet access or both. But if you have programs that have all of those resources, then we strongly recommend the online student supplement that goes with Computers One Click. This online supplement parallels and reinforces each of the 7 lessons in the student workbook, and it gives learners the opportunity to practice and apply new skills in an engaging e-learning format. Using informational audios and videos, instructional videos, and extension activities and mini quizzes called knowledge checks, the student supplement significantly enhances instruction. Now, remember the Candy Cafe spreadsheet activity from earlier? Well, the practice is extended in the student supplement. There are 5 additional questions based on the workbook activity, and students answer the questions as they practice basic mouse and keyboarding skills. And then they receive immediate feedback. If a student does not earn a passing score, that student's going to be prompted to review and try again. And the default passing score setting is 80%, but the instructor can edit that. The correct answers are shown for the knowledge checks, and where applicable, explanations are given so students can see how the answer is found. And as I mentioned, there are many extension and additional practice exercises included in the student supplement. For example, here students are instructed to download an Excel spreadsheet showing another company's employee data. And then they're instructed to perform a number of tasks with that data, including create column headings, adjust column size, rename the worksheet tab, autofill columns, change the format in the salary column, inserting new columns using a formula to calculate employee age, or creating a scatter chart to show relationships between employee age and salary, and then use the newly created data to answer questions. An instructional video provides more support and guidance. And whether or not your students have access to the online student supplement, you probably do. And the online instructor guide provides you with more tools in your tool belt to facilitate that instruction, like sharing ideas for framing the lessons and providing useful instructor notes for many of the exercises in the workbook. The answer key for the instructors includes hints and suggestions not found in the student workbook, and includes all knowledge checks and surveys found in the online student supplement. In fact, the online instructor guide has all the content from the student supplement and more. An administrator account is available to programs that purchase one or more classroom packs, and a classroom pack is 10 student workbooks, 10 online supplements for the student, and an online instructor guide. That dashboard allows the designated administrator to view numerous reports like user activity, knowledge check scores, completed courses, and more. And you can filter by users or by date. Here, the administrator is able to customize the course for students by changing required passing scores or hiding disabling features, things like that. An implementation guide for instructors and a quick start guide for students are provided for users that purchase the online associated components, making the course startup easy and stress-free. And lastly, you'll find the Northstar digital literacy assessment chart on our website that shows how computers one click at a time stacks up to the Northstar digital literacy standards. And we provide a downloadable PDF of the guide with a cross-reference to computers one click at a time. There's 16 pages in all. So it's a crosswalk between those Northstar digital literacy standards and the computers one click at a time content. And that's computers one click at a time, a great solution for teaching digital literacy in learning environments that might range from low to high levels of technology infrastructure. So I know we're a couple minutes over. Here's a little bit more information. 3 things. Easy to order classroom packs for anyone interested. Now, Learning Upgrade, you can try free of charge in a pilot for 90 days with as many students as you'd like. I'll show you how to contact us in a minute. But there is a classroom pack available, number 7408. It includes 5 12-month licenses, 5 digital literacy workbooks, and a teacher's guide. So you save money by buying this classroom pack. For InGen, where you have full access to digital literacy and all of the other academic and career prep courses, in recognition of this digital equity webinar, we've created a special promo, DEW22, where you can save 20% when purchasing 25 or more licenses. And then with computers one click at a time, we have a classroom pack for this as well. This one includes 10 student workbooks, 10 online supplements, and an online teacher guide. This is item number 7334. And again, you save money when you bundle it this way. So reach out to us, call customer service, 800-448-8878, or send us an email at NRP, that stands for New Readers Press, @proliteracy.org. We'd love to hear from you, and everyone who registered will receive a follow-up email with this recording and this PowerPoint and a certificate of participation.